lounge, computers, and printer access. So there's a lot of services there for you. And the student services staff are available obviously during regular office hours, but there's also a 24-hour, 7 days a week emergency contact should something arise. So they are so supportive for both you, the student, and for both us, the faculty teaching over there. They are an amazing team to be a part of. The AIFS staff coordinates the orientation I just mentioned, the classroom facilities. We'll talk about housing options in a minute, various cultural activities and excursions, as well as student advising and counseling. So there is so much available in terms of support from the AIFS. If you take a look at your screen now, on the left, you'll see a picture of some of their offices, and on the right, some of the classrooms. So it's a great facility. I had a friend who had studied at AIFS in London, and she said it was really great. So again, take a look at your screen. This is a picture of a part of the central area of London. Up here is Hyde Park. It's a very famous large park in London. And AIFS is here in Kensington, and it's about a 10-minute walk to the larger lecture hall. So super central in London. You can even see here the National History Museum, the V&A Museum. I mean, there's just so much. Buckingham Palace is right here. So there's just so much to see and do in London. Now let's talk about academics. The semester abroad program is about academics. So the courses have been really well selected and the faculty members that are going from each district to make sure that they are UC and CSU transferable. We want you to still make progress on your college goals while you're on this program. They'll meet general education requirements. All students must enroll in one class that's called the British Life and Culture course, plus three other courses for a total of 12 units. Now, I know already some of you may be thinking, well, what if I want to take 15 units? I'm going to really stop and pause and say, you're going to be in London. It's going to be one of the most amazing periods in your life, and you are not going to want to be stuck in your room on a computer taking an online class when you could be out enjoying life. So I really caution against that. But you will take one British Life and Culture class, which we all take together, and then three other academic courses, which I'll show you the options in a moment. So two courses will be with me, that British Life and Culture class and one of my business classes because I'm a business faculty member. That's two out of the four. The other two can be some business classes with me or some from the other faculty that are going, and I'll share that with you in a moment. But London is our classroom. I mean, it's just fabulous. It's going to be great. The British Life and Culture class is really to help you understand the culture and society of London and the surrounding UK. They may speak English, but it's a different type of English and it's a different culture. It is so fascinating, the British humor, the British food, the history that's there. It's really fascinating. You'll learn a lot. We will have lectures and field trips on things like history, art, architecture, politics, society, gastronomy, customs and traditions, etc. So the British Life and Culture class is required for everyone to take that course with us. But it's fabulous. I will learn a lot as well. Then the next four slides, I'm going to show you the different districts and what we're offering by that faculty member. So this first slide you're looking at here on the right, that is St. Paul's Cathedral, and this bridge is the Millennium Bridge. It's great. I promise you'll walk across it. For business course options, I'm offering three options for you. Business 100, which is Introduction to Business, Business 101, Human Relations in the Workplace, and Business 125 International Business. So that's amazing, contextualized in an international city, a global city, and then, of course, the British Life and Culture. So that's one with me, my offerings. Contra Costa, my colleague John Corbally is coming. He is British. He's super funny. He's done study abroad before. This is some photos of students, not of John. He is a history professor. So if you need to meet a history GE requirement, John is your man. He's offering History 141, History of Western Civilization since the Renaissance. History 142, Contemporary European History. How amazing is that to take that class while you're in Europe? And then History 181, World History since 1500. So definitely some options there if you're looking to meet a history requirement. Now, Professor Trang Abid is from Los Rios Community College District. She teaches English, so she'll be offering three different English classes you could choose from. English literature, late 18th century through the present, women in literature, and an introduction to dramatic literature. So again, if you need to meet an English requirement, she is the one to take a class with. And then last but not least, Justin Smith from Santa Rosa Junior College. He is a theater professor, which is super cool for London. I just can't say that enough. I kind of want to take a class with him, but I won't. He's offering the general intro to theater arts, multicultural theater, and introduction to theater management, which is kind of unique. On the right, you'll see some tourists in the middle of the Globe Theater, which is a replica of Shakespeare's Globe Theater right on the River Thames. So that is an amazing opportunity to go see that piece of history. So four professors from four different Northern California community college districts with a variety of offerings to help keep you going forward with your academic goals. That is amazing. And actually, a great screenshot for you here. This is the class schedule, Monday through Thursday. And you could see the British Life and Culture is at the end of Monday, Wednesday. There's the business classes here, and then also on the other days, but you'll see the schedule. So if you want to take a screenshot or a photo, this is a good one to take. It's also on the London program website. All right. And so just to point out that life and British life and culture at the bottom, that is a required course that all students from all four college districts will attend. And the other ones you can choose and pick your schedule. All right. Again, AIFS really wants to help you integrate within the local culture, and so they include membership to the Imperial College Student Union. That's a great benefit. So it's included with the program. It's just a short 5-minute walk from the AIFS Study Center, and students have access to almost 400 clubs, activities, and societies. They could participate in sports activities. We have a few students who are very athletic, and so they've been asking about opportunities to maintain that fitness. The campus also has a gym and a pool for an additional fee. We have a few students who are interested in joining a gym, as well as shops, pubs, and cafes. So it's a great social atmosphere to meet other local students and to also, access gyms and pools and things like that. AIFS also wants to make sure you have access to cultural activities. So they maintain a weekly calendar of free and subsidized, which means reduced cost activities. So what does this mean? It can mean like attending a sporting event, a walking tour, theater or dance events. There's so much to see and do in London. And even day trips, like taking a bus trip out to Stonehenge, going to Bath, Brighton, Cambridge, and Oxford are just about an hour away from London and Stratford upon Avon. So there's, if whether you want to go see a rugby match or a football soccer match, there are so many great opportunities for you to get out there at a low cost or no cost. All right, so now let's talk housing. You might think, oh, this sounds great. Where would I stay? What are the options for housing? So AIFS actually defaults to what we call a homestay. This means that you stay with a local family in a twin bedroom in zone 3 or 4. So London is kind of a central circle oval. Zone 1 is in the middle, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. It's approximately a 45 to 60-minute commute on public transportation, which is very typical in London. And it includes a continental breakfast. So your host family would have toast, cereal, coffee, or tea for you on a daily basis. You will have access to a shared kitchen, a living space, and laundry facilities. Of course, you'll have Wi-Fi, and it's included in the program fee. Now, if you think for any reason you don't really want to live with a local home, sorry, family, and this is a twin bedroom, so you'll have a roommate from the program. The other option is to kind of level up to a student residence. So it's still a twin bedroom, meaning you share a room with somebody else. It's in zone 2, but it still can be about a 45-minute commute depending on where you're located. It has an equipped kitchenette, which I'll show you a picture in a minute, an ensuite bathroom, of course, a shared study area, and laundry facilities in the building. And of course, Wi-Fi. We can never deal without Wi-Fi these days. But meals are not included. So I'll give you my advice, but I'll also give you some advice that my friends have said. So I personally love a homestay. You get embedded with a local family who have really opted in to help people from abroad, get involved in the culture and understand local things to do. It's a great way to get some, translations of what things mean, to really get embedded in the local culture. I stayed with a host family a long time ago in Cambridge, and they came out to my wedding in California. I went out to my host brother's wedding. I was just texting my host mom today. So it's been a lifelong relationship now. But let's say you want more freedom about when you come and go home, or maybe you have more dietary restrictions where you really want to, figure out your own food, then the student residence is something that you might want to opt into. Now, for the student residence, there is a supplemental fee of $2,995. So that is something you need to consider, but it's an option. Let me show you what this looks like. So on the screen in front of you, these are the homestays with the host family. So you see essentially a three-story building here that's semi-attached, so it shares a wall. This is the ground floor kind of living room area. And then you see in the lower right a student with their host family sharing food, sharing events. I will go see my host family while I'm out in London with you guys. And they invite me to barbecues for my host dad's birthday. We're going to go on a little trip together. So it's really a great cultural connection. And now if you look in front of you at the student residence photos, so a very great modern facility. On the left is that shared kitchenette. The exterior of the building is here on the right, and then an example of a bedroom here on the lower right. So another great option. It just depends on what fits your preference and what you would prefer. All right, so now let's talk about how you get around. You are not going to get around by driving. I'm just going to tell you that, not in London. So you included in the program fee is what's considered to be an Oyster card, which is a transportation pass. So it's already included. You could use it for those double-decker red buses, the overground buses, and for the underground, which we call the tube. This is a map of the tube here. Super easy to get around London. I love it. It's good for the entire semester, so those 3 months you're there, and you can use it not just for school, but also for evening and weekends. So your transportation around London is already included. What it doesn't include is like a train to Cambridge, for instance, right? That's a separate system, so that's going to be a separate price. But it's fabulous. You can actually even get to Heathrow, the airport, on the tube. There might be a supplement for that because it's outside in, I think, zone five, but it's so easy. So, what is included in the program fee? What did we talk about? The housing in a homestay in twin rooms, so with a roommate, including that continental breakfast daily and access to kitchen, laundry, etc. Or you can level up and pay the supplemental fee for housing in the student residence, still with a roommate, but with the same access to everything, just not that continental breakfast. You get that transportation pass to get around London, super cool. Membership to the Imperial College Student Union, and then, of course, AIFS, their student center and their staff services, including that 24/7 emergency contact. That's amazing. So let's say you get sick and you need help navigating how to get a prescription. AIFS will certainly know the answer to that. Access to the orientation program that's really well developed and workshops, plus that fun guided tour of London, get you started and off on the right foot. Weekly subsidized activities in London and in the region, medical insurance, and pre-departure services and orientation. So there is an in-person orientation at Skyline College in the middle of August. Again, we just want to set you up with success, get to meet each other, know each other, and be ready to rock and roll. So for the 3 months in London, the program fees are $10,195. Now, some people may say that sounds like a lot, but actually for London, that's really affordable. And we'll also compare it to some other programs, let's say at a four-year university. So that's what's included, but we'll get to that comparison in a moment. Now, what else should you budget for, or basically what isn't included? So we want you to feel prepared. What are some additional costs that we need to plan for? Number one, travel. Airfare is not included in that fee. You could book it on your own, or you can use the optional group flight that AIFS provides. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. And right now, that's pretty darn affordable, is what I'm going to say, with a great carrier. But your visa for the UK, for the United Kingdom, is actually up to 6 months. So you could leave as early as mid-August after that orientation that we have at Skyline and stay up to 6 months in the UK. Now, for instance, I'm going to leave early and I'm going to go to Spain with my kids. That does not trigger my visa for the UK. But if I wanted to, which I won't, but I do want to, I could stay for 6 months in England. So it's up to you. But they also have a group flight, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But that would be an additional fee. Academics, so you still are responsible for your community college tuition. You're responsible for textbooks, but realize, those of us going on this program are seasoned professors. Many of us offer free OER textbooks. I do for all my business classes. So it depends on what class, but that is something to keep in mind. And then think about your daily life, right? So your other meals outside of that, breakfast for the homestay or, anything else is on your own or all meals if you're at the student residence. And think about personal expenses. We're all different. Shopping, travel, getting your passport, all that stuff is different. So that is not included in the program. So just want to make sure you think about these things and set aside to think about what you do because we all do different things while we're there. Now, optional AIFS also offers trip protection insurance. And when you sign up with AIFS, that's when it's offered to you and you can opt into it. So that depends on if that's something you're interested in, but it is optional and it's there for you in case that interests you. All right, so let's talk about that group flight because the prices just came out for that. It's a round trip group flight from San Francisco to London Heathrow. So you would depart SFO on Thursday, September 3rd at 4:25. You would arrive at London Heathrow the next day at 11 a.m. Again, it's about 11-hour direct flight. You would return on Friday, December 4th, departing London at 11:45 and arrive back home in San Francisco at 3 p.m. on that same day, on Friday, February 4th. That's if you choose to opt into the group flight. Otherwise, you could do your own flight if you want. This includes the AIFS staff will pick students up at London Heathrow and take you either to your homestay or your student residence. So I always say the group flight is great for students who maybe haven't traveled on their own much or at all, and who would feel a little more comfortable if the staff took them to where they were going to go. It's kind of like a white glove service, right? It's really great. I'd also say it's a pretty darn good price for the carrier as well. So it's with British Airways, which I really recommend and I really love British Airways for 855. Just note that it's subject to change until you purchase it and get ticketed. So the earlier you sign up, the more likely you are to lock in that airfare. But British Airways is amazing for customer service. Zed, do you want to add anything there so far?
Yeah, just so that students know, now is a time where airfare is going up ridiculously. So this is a really, really good deal that AIFS has for a round trip to London for $855. That includes a pickup and taking you to your accommodations. That's very, very competitive. Um, for some of our summer programs, we're seeing, in the double digits right now. It's almost $2,000 to go to Japan, 2,000 something to go to South Africa, and 1,500 to go to Peru. Just to give you an idea. So this is, yeah, you guys are saving a ton of money with this.
It is a great option. Thank you. They also offer, again, this is optional, but let's say you're like, well, I don't want to travel on my own. AIFS offers an excursion to Scotland over a weekend, 4 days, 3 nights to Edinburgh, the Isle of Skye, and Loch Ness. You could, again, include some meals, transportation by train, which is beautiful in the UK, and some tours, and that's $795. But that's optional, up to you, but they're just trying to meet the needs of a lot of students. This page is about financial aid, so it may be a good point for you to take a picture or a screenshot. Students can use their financial aid to pay program fees. Again, I'm going to say the district works really hard to work with students to make this as easy as possible for you to afford. Make sure, however, that you've completed your 26-27 FAFSA application, always important, but I'm sure you already know that. And on the screen highlighted at top is the financial aid specialist for our program. Brianna Castro, and her email is there. So if that's important to you, take a screenshot or a photo. But again, we work really hard to help students figure it out. I definitely have to say that. Okay, scholarships. Now, our students also work really hard to get scholarships, and the earlier you commit, the better your chances are of getting scholarships to help reduce the cost. So I'm going to give you a list to start here and then where to expand. So start here. AIFS actually offers ambassador scholarships. So for our program, they offer one $1,000 award and two $500 awards just to the people going into our program. So that's a small pool. These are just for the Northern California Study Abroad Consortium students. You have to have had 12 units or completed 12 college units and with a GPA of 2.5 or above. If you think that fits you when you apply to the program, then you'll talk to our study abroad team to get additional information to apply for that. There's also the Gilman Scholarship. However, for this program, that deadline has already passed, but I'm super how do you say? I mean, I love study abroad. So if you think London may not be the right trip for you or program for you later on, just plan it in your head about the Gilman because Zed and his team have been amazing at getting our students Gilman scholarships. It's not guaranteed, but it is a substantial support, and the Gilman is amazing. It's for Pell Grant recipients, U.S. citizens. There's a couple other things, but do know about it. And it is a bit of effort, but it's worth the effort. Do you want to say anything else about that?
Yes, we actually do have a few students who applied for London and they have submitted their applications for Gilman, so that is great. Again, Gilman is one of those opportunities that it's offered twice a year, and you receive up to $5,000 to study abroad. So it does help. It doesn't cover, the full cost of study abroad, but it is, a very uh, competitive scholarship. We've seen, our students receive it from a pre-pandemic. We had students receiving about 50% of our students received it. Post-COVID, when travel has increased, that acceptance rate has gone down a little bit, but not super low. We're now at about 35% of our students who apply receive the Gilman Scholarship. So, yeah.
That's amazing. All right. There's also the Fund for Education Abroad, which is for U.S. citizens and permanent residents. So there's a lot of like kind of where we would recommend you would start, but there's a lot of other databases out there. Student Scholarships is one of the largest scholarship databases, and it has a lot of different deadlines that you could offer or look at. FastWeb is well known for unique college scholarships and grants. Fine Aid is a guide to financial aid and scholarships. There's also a Career One Stop, which is through the U.S. Department of Labor. And when you go to their website, it's actually filtered by month. So right now you just see March, 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 March. So it's something you want to keep doing continuously for study abroad, but also for college when you're just going to regular college, I would say. I did that a lot as a student. There's also Go Overseas, which has over 50 scholarships and grants for study abroad this year. So there are a lot of options if you're just willing to do the work and to just continually check in and try. Just try. Every little bit helps. Most students also work to combine two or three different scholarships, so don't be afraid to apply to more than one, and a little bit, again, from different sources will really help. Also, our students are so creative, and I love this big teddy bear in the truck. That's a Costco teddy bear, I know that. Use all of your resources, get creative, and I know you guys are. So use your financial aid like we talked about, apply to those scholarships. That's kind of typical. But think about, what lifestyle changes can you make? How can you cut down on expenses between now and then? If you have birthdays or holidays coming up, could you just tell your family and friends, I'd much rather prefer some sort of financial contribution to my program than actual physical things right now? Think about additional side hustles, side jobs, a summer job, sales, garage sales, selling your stuff online, gig work. I mean, we all know there's a lot of ways to hustle in the Bay Area. And also, some students have been successful with crowdfunding. So, GoFundMe, Zelle, Venmo campaigns. Again, there's a lot of different ways you can try to bring in money. When I initially did my study abroad semester, when I was in community college here in the Bay Area, at that time you could buy C's chocolate candy bars, and I bought a whole bunch, and my parents helped me sell it at work. I sold some at college. Like, you just hustle whatever you have to do to try to bring in more funds for that. So I promise you it is possible and it is worth it. I've never regretted it. So let's compare a little bit because that's important to note. If you come with us during this time, it's actually substantially cheaper than going to study abroad when you're at a four-year university. So if you take a look at your screen, there's a table with 3 rows that show you different university levels and their programs and the estimated cost. So anywhere from $17,000 to $50,000, including tuition. So it's important to kind of understand the scope of what's out there and how really this is a very affordable program for students today. So, what about eligibility? Let's talk about that. All applicants must be 18 years or older by the time we depart in September. You must have at least a 2.25 GPA. If you're not sure, make sure you go check your transcripts to know if you can apply. And you must have successfully completed 12 or more college units. So if that meets what you've done so far, then you are ready to go. We also really think kind of holistically about the whole student, and we like to say, think about, is this experience right for you? Study abroad is very exciting, but it's also sometimes challenging. So we're here to support you every step of the way. So for instance, when I studied abroad, there was a point where I got a little homesick. And a lot of us have felt that way, and we know how to help you get through that emotion. Before you apply, we are more than happy to talk with you about certain things that if you're concerned about, right? So if you have accommodations that use in the classroom, if you're a student with a disability, you can definitely talk to us. Know that we, as professional instructors, we will accommodate what we need to accommodate with you in the classroom. I have no doubt about that. But if you have any concerns or something you just want to talk through, we're always happy to talk with you and talk it out with you. If you have any health, dietary, or accessibility needs, feel free to connect with the Study Abroad office or connect with me. AIFS has been a great help with this. And the example I'd heard was if you had mobility, excuse me, issues, it doesn't mean you can't go. It means they will think through what do they need to do with the excursions or with the housing to make it good for you. Think about any medications or anything that may impact your experience. So, for instance, I take some medications, but with my doctor, I've asked I could get a vacation refill. Like some of my medicine, I can only get 1 month at a time, and so I'll work with my provider to get a supply to last the whole time while I'm out there. Why does this matter? We really want to set you up for success from housing to daily life in London. So we're always willing to meet with students and to talk about anything that you're thinking about, any hesitations. We're just happy to help you think through it and help you learn that, yes, we can get you there. Now, for any reason you think, well, maybe London isn't the right time or whatever, there is every full semester, we're offering programs for a full semester study abroad. In spring, it's Florence, Italy. Oh, it must be so rough. It's going to be beautiful. Student apartments. Again, the thought behind the courses we offer to continue your goal. I mean, if I was you, I would just go to London and then I'd go to Florence, and then next semester I'd go to Barcelona. But such great an opportunity.
We have
Activities
had
such as,
a few students do that.
yeah, as I'm going back to school now. I would totally do that. Cooking classes, I mean, it's just amazing in Italy. Pasta, pizza, gelato, just, and you're right in the middle of Italy. You can go to so many different places. All right, so deadlines. Now, the priority application already passed. I would really encourage you that if you are serious about this, to sign up fast. The general application due date isn't till June 3rd, but the sooner you commit, the longer you have to look for scholarships and make a plan, but also the sooner you can pick your classes. Because remember, it's 4 districts that are funneling in students and people are signing up fast. So if you're serious, I really encourage you to apply as soon as possible. Your final payment, however, isn't due until July 10th, so there's plenty of time to set up a payment plan, to work with a financial aid advisor on how your financial aid in fall can help support the program, and to work with a counselor to pick your classes that best meet your goals. So there's a lot of opportunity here. And on the screen here, if you want to take a screenshot in our district, Jerry or Gerardo is one of the main contacts in the study abroad office with Zed. His information is up here on the left, and the great email is the studyabroad@smccd.edu. So I have talked a lot. I'm going to leave this up for a second, but if there's any questions, Zed and I are always very happy to answer them. And Zed, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we'd love to hear any questions that you all have. I did put the application link in the chat, and the AIFS Ambassador Scholarship for London application link is there as well. That is for accepted students, so you have to apply first, get accepted, then apply for that scholarship. And as Professor Candice mentioned, it is $1,000 scholarship, there's a $500 scholarship, and a third $500 scholarship. So three are offered through that. There is also the SMCC F Foundation scholarships through our foundation, study abroad specifically for that. We open that once we have a strong list of students who have applied for the program. So once you apply and you're in, we'll send that link for the additional scholarships. And that is to fill any funding gaps that you may have. So let's say you've raised, $8,000 and you're short of, you get 500 from or 1,000 from Gilman or 1,000 from somewhere else, and then you say, okay, I need another $1,000. This is the scholarship that we use to bridge that gap in funding for our students. So definitely apply. Just a show of hands here, how many of you are like seriously interested in this program and going to apply, submit your application? Rue, I see your hand up. You can type it in the chat, say, yes, I'm going to apply. If I know it's hard to find the Zoom hand sometimes. Here, the Zoom hand. But yeah, we really look forward to receiving your application. Um, the clock is ticking. Some of the other districts are, their classes are going to get full soon, but we really want to have our cohort set and ready by mid-April. So definitely submit your application. I'm here at the Study Abroad office, and so is Gerardo. We are great resources to help you figure this out. If you want to speak with financial aid, I would recommend to start with your home financial aid office. So if you're at Skyline, go to the financial aid office at Skyline and say, hey, I want to use my grants for studying in London next semester. And they'll be like, yeah, sure. The same grants that you receive here, you can receive them in London. So your financial aid follows you to London. It doesn't stay here in the Bay Area. All right, so let's take some questions now. We have about 15 minutes, so we can see if there are any questions from the group. I did answer one question from Kimmy. I think she has left, but she'll email us. But her question was about, are emotional support animals allowed? This is something we'll have to check with AIFS. And, I've had some folks bring some of their animals in the past, but they need to have, I think, a note from a doctor that this is a support animal that they're bringing with them. So we'll check with AIFS on that and get back to Kimmy.
Perfect. So this is your time. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat or open your mic or raise your hand, whatever's easiest for you.
Looks like you did a really great job, Professor. No one has any
Yeah.
questions. Thanks, Patrick. No questions. We look forward to seeing your application.
I can't wait to go. I just booked my flight. I am so excited. I'm going on a road trip in Spain for 2 weeks.
Amazing.
Thank you, Ebony. Again, and now, you know what, I forget. I put my email in here. So my last name is Nance, and then my first initial is C. If you have any questions, you can email me. Thank you, Rue. But study abroad at SMCCD is also very helpful. Any questions, anything that comes up, let us know. We're always here to help about this program or any other program. Although I'm just London, but Zed is everything.
Yeah, I put study abroad's email there as well.
Thank you. All right. We'll hang tight, but you guys can have a great evening. I hope you stay cool.